Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Thursday, May 8th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We go over my core picks. It's going to be one pitcher, four hitters. That's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. It's going to be a small 4-game main slate for Thursday's slate overall, so definitely feel free to mix and match as you do see fit. Maybe get a little bit more creative than you typically would be otherwise, and maybe play just a little bit lighter than you would be at the same time as well. Some really great pitching options out there, so hitters may be hard to come by, but definitely feel free to get creative. Once again, after we go through my core picks, going to go over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top team to stack for the slate overall, which is only going to be one team if we're being honest because of the pitching options that are available for today. And then in the morning, I'll be posting up my weather report that I'll have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. So definitely I'll look out for that, as well as all the starting lineups as they do come out throughout the afternoon and early evening. But without further ado, we'll get right into it with the core picks for Thursday's slate. So we're going to start off at the pitcher position with Spencer Schwellenbach. He's $8,700, averaging just under 30 fantasy points per game. He goes against the Cincinnati Reds. He has good but limited history versus them in the past. He had one start against them last season where he did have 40 fantasy points. If we look at what he's done so far in the season, it's only the one win. ERA is just under 4 at 3.92, and once again averaging about 30 fantasy points per game. Obviously, it's been a little bit rougher for him as of late. He did have that strong start to the season, but a little bit more hit or miss since then, but does offer a relatively safe floor with some high-end upside at the same time as well at $8,700. Then we're going to move down to our hitters. We're going to start off at first base with Freddie Freeman, $4,200, averaging just over 15 fantasy points per game. Goes against the Arizona Diamondbacks as Brandon Pfaadt as the expected starting pitcher for them. And Freddie Freeman's fared pretty well against him in his career, 4 for 11 with 1 home run. He is on a 12-game hitting streak as we do speak, 8 multi-hit games during that time span, 4 home runs, 8 double-digit performances, and 10 games of at least 9 fantasy points or higher. So Freddie Freeman probably looking like one of the better hitters on the entire slate, just in general. And since coming back from that injury, he has looked like the Freddie Freeman of old. And if we look at what Freddie Freeman's done on the season in totality, 362 average, 8 home runs, 29 RBIs. Once again, averaging just over 15 fantasy points per game at $4,200. Then we're going to move down to third base with Yoan Moncada of the Los Angeles Angels, $2,400, averaging about 9.5 fantasy points per game. He goes against the Toronto Blue Jays. It's Chris Bassett on the mound, and he is 2 for 7 versus Chris Bassett in his career. And if we look at Moncada, he hasn't had many opportunities so far this season, mainly because he's been hurt, but he did return for Tuesday's game. He ended up hitting a home run, so definitely do like the upside that could be there with him just in general. 200 batting average on the season, the 1 home run, 7 RBIs, once again averaging about 9.5 fantasy points per game. Obviously, if he's a player that you don't want to play, feel free to switch off to somebody else at the same time as well. Then on the opposite end of that game, we're going to go with Bo Bichette at shortstop, $2,800, averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game. And he goes against the Los Angeles Angels. Jose Soriano is the expected starting pitcher for them. 1 for 1 versus Soriano in his career. And if we look at what Bo Bichette's done as of late, he has at least 1 hit in 5 out of his last 7 games. 3 multi-hit games during that time span, his lone home run on the season. He has 3 double-digit performances and at least 4 games of 9 fantasy points or higher. So doing relatively well as of late, $2,800. Looks like a respectable pay down price tag for a guy that does offer a relatively safe floor. 278 batting average, 1 home run, 14 RBIs, once again averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game. And then last but not least, we're going down to Shohei Ohtani at $4,600. Going against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Once again, Brandon Pfaadt is on the mound for them. And Shohei Ohtani 2 for 6 versus Pfaadt in his career. And as of late, Shohei has been looking more like the Shohei Ohtani of old. And he has a 5-game hitting streak, 2 multi-hit games during that time span, 3 home runs, 4 double-digit performances, all over 20 points. And all 5 games, he's had at least 9 fantasy points or higher. So like the upside of Shohei Ohtani once again. And if we look at what he's done so far in the season, 299 batting average, 10 home runs, 15 RBIs. Obviously, we would like to see that RBI total increase just a little bit more because he's essentially hitting a lot of solo shots at this point in time. But once again, averaging just under 16.5 fantasy points per game at $4,600. Looks like a really solid play overall. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $12,300 remaining, just under $3,100 remaining per player. So a decent amount of money remaining. If you want to pay up from a Yoan Moncada, you can definitely do that as well. If you want to pay up from Spencer Schwellenbach to like a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you can definitely do that. Would understand that. But, I'm probably going to stick on the cheaper end of pitchers just in general for this slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get over my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP team to stack for Thursday slate. So I have to say top team because it's just the Dodgers on this slate. They have fared pretty well against Brandon Pfaadt in the past. All the other pitchers have decent history, even if it's limited history versus their respective opponents. If you want to stack another team, definitely feel free to do so. It is a good leverage spot, a good contrarian spot to ultimately end up getting away from the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are just the one team that look the best on this slate overall. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of my core picks as well as top GPP teams to stack for Thursday, May 8th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section of this video, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Once again, in the morning, I'll be listing my morning weather report. They'll have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I will also be listing as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely I'll look for all that down in the comment section. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have MLB DFS in terms of the core picks Monday through Friday. Have my UFL DFS video coming out once a week. Typically that's on Wednesdays, but this week you'll be coming out on Thursdays. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well. And then once again, I do want to do some NFL draft grade videos. Have not had the opportunity to do that at this point in time with being busy and being sick, but hopefully we'll be able to get that out at some point this weekend as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you're a brand new user to any one of those three sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Thursday, May 8th.